welcome to Abstract Boss. My name is Ashley, and today I'm going to be showing you something a little new. It's mixed in with inspiration that I've seen from great geometric wall designs that people do, and I decided that I don't want to have a permanent geometric wall design, so I'm going to attempt to do something that's a lot less permanent. So if you guys are in an apartment, or even if you're just in a home and you want to try out the geometric design before you actually do anything, or maybe you just are like me and you like to have change all the time, then this video is going to be perfect for you. I hope it works out. Honestly, at the time of filming this intro, I have no flippin' idea if it's going to work. So let's see what happens. Okay, so I realized that the amount of putty that is up there is not enough, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. This is not really something that you guys will have to be going through, so you can fast forward through this part. I'll do it super quick. This is because of my leak, so unless you guys are trying to cover up a leak, you don't have to worry about it. But if you are, or you have any type of flaws, you wanna make sure that you have it level, so that way when you put the paint on top, it's not gonna look bumpy and all that good stuff. That's why I'm sanding this entire area. And I'll be sanding all those little white holes that you see as well, because those I put spackle in, and I want to make sure that those are nice and level as well. Okay, so now that I'm done with the prep work, mostly I just have to resand this part, but I have to let it dry because I just had to level it out. So once this dries, I'll resand and I'll show you how I'm gonna tape everything off. Now, time for prep work. So really, you just need a lot of the blue painter's tape and plastic. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to tape along the edge of my baseboard and lay the plastic on the floor. So of course, if I drop any paint, I'm not gonna destroy my floor. But something with paint, if you do drop it or get it into something, wash it as quick as possible while it's still wet. That's your biggest hope for being able to save it. If you do not, then you're pretty much screwed. Paint is very difficult to get out of things. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fast forward you guys through it. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm done taping off my edges. Now, the problem is I did not actually tape off my ceiling. The reason being, I have two reasons for it. One, because it's a popcorn ceiling and it's extremely bumpy, and so I'm afraid that the tape isn't gonna stick very well and it's gonna take off some of the popcorn. That is what happened when I did my son's room, so I don't really want that to happen out here. And then also, because I just did this fix yesterday, and painted it and all that good stuff, and some of the popcorn is still slightly a little too mushy, I don't want to worry about that coming off and then having to repaint that later, because that's gonna be a lot harder to paint after I put my blue on. So because of those two reasons, I'm just going to try to cut in my line up top with a brush instead. I think that that's going to be extremely effective for me because I've been painting for a while, but if you guys are very, very new, I highly recommend that you tape it off anyways and deal with the consequences, because it's a lot worse if you get blue up on top and you're trying to paint it white. Like, it's really difficult. So just kind of, you can even try it with a little test piece, see how good you are with going a straight line on a corner, or maybe use a ruler to block up there. They've got some crazy tools to try that stuff out. I personally I've used a couple and they have not worked for me. So I'm just gonna do what I do best, which is use a paintbrush. So I'm gonna walk you guys through kind of how I start, and then I'll fast forward you guys through the whole process. So normally I use a brush first and I get along all my edges, so that way it's called cutting in the edges. The reason being is you don't want to keep switching back from brush to roller, brush to roller, brush to roller. If you don't get a large enough section with brush, then you're probably going to need to switch back, because your roller, you don't want to get it too close to the ceiling. It'll touch the popcorn. Obviously, it's just a hot mess. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut around my edges. I'm also going to cut around the light fixture. Looks like there's one light fixture I forgot to, so I'll have to take that off. I did take the face of it off, so that way I don't have to worry about getting paint on the face of it, unless you want to. Or even I might spray paint them gold, because that'll go really great with the accent lines that I plan to add on. So let's see what happens. But definitely cut in with your paintbrush first. It's a lot easier to clean up if you make a mistake, and then it's also the most daunting process besides the prep work with this entire thing. So cut it in with your paintbrush and then take the roller. Okay, I have my little container and my brush, so let's get to it. I'm gonna start right here, since I completely forgot to plastic off this other small section over here. And what I'm gonna do is, when you dip, just do a little bit. You don't wanna have a lot. And then make sure you're getting all that excess off. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hold it straight up to the edge, and you're gonna slowly drag it. Notice how I'm not moving my wrist. I'm just pulling my whole arm. That's gonna help you keep a straight line if you're daring to do what I am doing right here. Okay, so I thought I'd bring you in a little bit closer as I'm doing the baseboards. You want to make sure that you're not brushing down onto the tape, because the paint will go under the tape. So you want to make sure that you're brushing along the width, or yeah, along the side of the tape, just like this. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of paint on your brush, just a little bit as you're going, and keep it super light. This is going to help reduce the amount of paint that comes underneath. Now I'm going to be doing an extra bead of caulking on top of the baseboard anyways, so I'm not too worried about it, but just, you know, for a tip for you guys. And then since the plate is off of this, you really don't have to be too perfect. I don't want to bring my roller around this though. I think that'll just be too much. So I'm just going to do this with my paintbrush, get it nice and covered, and then that way it's golden for when I bring my roller. Okay, so now for rolling, it's really a lot simpler. Once you're done with your brush though, wrap it with saran wrap if you might still possibly need it. So that way you don't have to worry about washing it, reusing it, washing it again, wasting a bunch of paint that way too. So that's just one of those tricks that I learned from my dad. Really, rolling it out is as simple as rolling it out. Let's do it. So turns out my spackle had frozen or something, so the adhesive to it did not work. So when I took the paintbrush, the paint roller over it, it completely tore it all off. Look at that. So now I have to go get fresh spackle. My dad walked me through everything, so this is gonna be so much fun. Hey, like my blue lips, got some paint on my lips today. Had a lot of fun, got most of it done. It needs a second coat because this, you know, absorbs the sheen of the paint apparently. So Learned a few new things about painting walls today, but besides that, I'm really excited for it. I think it's gonna look really good. I just have a nice, fun boo-boo to still fix, and that's from the leak. But you can't tell! Look how beautiful I did up there! All right, so now here's the next step. I have already tried this out. I actually have a little test strip down here that's a little spray painted with gold because I wanted to make sure that this worked. And I had to wait for my wall to dry for like 5 days just to make sure that that paint wasn't gonna peel. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this tape across here to create all as long as I can, so that way I could spray paint as much as I can. And then what I'm gonna do is the reason I'm actually applying it onto the plastic is so that way some of that adhesive, the stickiness, actually comes off. You don't want to put this directly on your wall or hold it out and then spray paint it, which was one of my original ideas. You want to make sure that you're applying this tape to the plastic, and I'm just stepping on it as I go. Oh, it's out from my bare feet. And then what you're going to do is you're going to spray paint the tape, and you have to wait until it's fully dry. I am 100% intending to cut the edges, which is why I'm just gonna rip it. You don't have to worry about scissors yet. We'll bring that in on the next step. So I'm gonna fast forward you guys through me applying all this tape and spray painting it. I'm using the Rust-Oleum Gold that I found, I believe at Walmart or Lowe's. Those are the only places that I've gotten the spray paint recently. So that's this one. Can you see that? I hope so. Oh, I can't see the screen. Okay, so let me fast forward you guys through it. All right, heading inside for a water break. Now we just gotta wait for them to dry. I just got started. I had a couple things to work out before I showed. Now, first off, I tried it earlier and it worked beautifully because I peeled the tape as soon as the gold paint was dry. Then I did huge long strips and waited half the day while it baked in the sun. And as I peeled up the tape, this happened in a couple areas because of the bending up, and it peeled it back. So what I highly recommend is like I did earlier, which was as soon as it's dry, then peel it up. But make sure that you have this tape adhered to the plastic, just like I showed you guys. And then make sure you are cutting the edges before you attach them to the wall. So I'm just trying to make a really cool geometric design with triangles and whatnot. And so all I'm gonna keep doing is just cutting wherever it breaks off onto that blue, and then attaching that piece somewhere, and then cutting the next spot, and keep going from there. So don't bend the tape back like you would a wax strip. Yeah, y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. You just wanna go ahead and keep it pulled taut and go underneath with the plastic and push the plastic away instead of bending the tape up. Y'all, this is gonna be an obnoxious process and take a lot longer, but it's gonna be worth it so you don't ruin all this tape that you just spray paint, AKA me, who totally screwed up, but it worked. Now you can have a temporary, oh, that lighting sucks too. Meh. Light sucks.
Made you
Did
tea.
you make me a tea?
Don't edit me out.
You did. Don't edit you out? You
Yeah,
want
no,
everyone
I
to see your goofballness
You
that
have
I
to
love
know
so
I love
much?
you.
Can you
Hey,
turn the
you-
light on?
I was going to joke with you. Maybe you should turn the light on if the light is.
I don't know why I just thought of that. Oh my god, it's so bright!
Yeah, I should be an artist. I should be an artist.
Oh man, I hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, so again, just pull it up and go under the plastic. Hey babe, do you still want to help?
No.
No?
I was going to go figure the dog.
Oh, okay.
But I can help if you need it.
Ella's cuter.
Oh, you're
Oh, this is gonna take so long. Okay, I didn't think you guys needed to see me fast-paced remove all the tape. You've already been explained. It's a waste of time. I know. I don't want to waste your time. So now I'm gonna take those pieces and connect them and make a super cool wall. Oh, and I just got that clock today, and I think it looks amazing, and it's gonna look so cool, and all of it's gonna come together. Now the only thing I have to replace is that piece of junk. So pretty, fancy, awesomeness. Everything's so cool. Even the curtains are cool. Whole couch set matches. Now the wall's looking cool. And then I have a coffee table for my TV stand. Yeah. All right, here it is. So this is the first part that I did, and I do like it. You guys can see how I just cut it off behind the TV. So can't really see that too much when you're in front. Okay, so that's kind of a way to save tape. I did use all my tape, and I actually do plan to redo this particular side just because this side looks so much better. Look at that. So not sticking to just triangles for me looks amazing. And let me see if I can scoot back here and get a full view. Look at that. How friggin' cool does that look? So it totally spices up the room, adds something completely different, and it was super cheap to do. That's something that I really, really like. So really, it's awesome. Let me know what you guys think of this. If this is something that you plan to do at home, I'd love to see. Tag me at abstractboss on Instagram. Do the hashtag abstractboss. And then my actual page, if you guys haven't checked out my Instagram, is abstractboss.llc. And I actually was able to update on this entire wall. As I was doing it, I had a lot of issues with this area right here, and just do a lot of vlogging on my stories. So if you guys like that type of thing, I'd love to have you over there. And that's about it. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time.